world is loud again. Turn on the news, and you will hear the drumbeat of war. Open your phone, and anger pours through the screen, like water through broken glass. Nations threaten one another. Old wounds between peoples are reopening, and somewhere in the noise, you may find yourself asking a question that has no easy answer. How do we find peace when the world refuses to be peaceful? I asked myself this question many times during my life. My name was Mohandas Gandhi, though some called me Mahatma, which means great soul. I never felt comfortable with that title. I was simply a man who discovered, through failure and struggle, that the greatest battles are fought within ourselves. Tonight, I want to share with you what I learned, not as a saint, not as a hero, but as someone who walked a long road filled with doubt, fear, and moments when giving up seemed easier than going on. If you are in your 60s now, you have already walked your own long road. You have seen the world change in ways both beautiful and heartbreaking. You have loved and lost. You have made choices you are proud of, and perhaps some you wish you could take back. This message is for you. Let me begin with something I said long ago: the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. I learned this truth not in a temple or through philosophy books, but in the streets of South Africa, where I spent 21 years of my life. I was a young lawyer then, filled with ambition and dressed in English suits, desperate to be accepted by a world that saw the color of my skin before it saw my heart. One night, I was thrown off a train, simply because I refused to leave the first-class compartment. I had purchased my ticket. I had every right to be there, but none of that mattered. I sat on that cold platform through the night, shivering, angry, humiliated. And in that darkness, I faced a choice that would shape everything that followed. I could let hatred consume me. I could spend my energy dreaming of revenge against those who had wronged me, or I could choose something harder. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending that wounds do not exist. Forgiveness means refusing to let the actions of others poison your soul. It means choosing freedom over chains that only you can see. If you are carrying old grudges tonight, if there are names that still bring bitterness to your tongue, I understand. Believe me, I understand. But consider this: every moment you spend reliving old injuries is a moment stolen from the peace you deserve. The person who hurt you may have moved on. They may not even remember what happened, but you remember. You carry it, and that weight grows heavier with each passing year. Set it down. Not for them, for yourself. Watch how much lighter you become when you finally release what was never truly yours to hold. Here is another truth I discovered in a gentle way: you can shake the world. People often misunderstand nonviolence. They think it means passivity. They think it means surrender. They think it means allowing injustice to continue without response. Nothing could be further from the truth. Nonviolence is not the absence of action. It is the presence of tremendous courage. It takes more strength to stand before armed soldiers with empty hands than to meet violence with violence. It takes more discipline to respond to hatred with love than to simply hate in return. During the Salt March of 1930, I walked 240 miles to the sea with thousands of fellow Indians. We were protesting an unjust tax on salt. But we were doing something far greater. We were proving that ordinary people, armed with nothing but conviction, could challenge an empire. The British authorities beat us. They arrested us by the thousands. They expected us to fight back. When we did not, when we simply kept walking forward, absorbing their blows without raising our fists. Something changed. The moral weight shifted. The whole world began to watch, and what they saw was not a mob of rebels. They saw human dignity that could not be broken. You may not be marching against empires anymore, but you face your own battles. Perhaps it is a difficult family member who tests your patience. Perhaps it is a health challenge that demands more courage than you thought you possessed. Perhaps it is simply the daily struggle to maintain hope in a world that often seems hopeless. In all these battles, remember that gentleness is not weakness. Patience is not defeat. The river shapes the stone not through force, but through persistence. Drop by drop, century after century, water writes its message into the hardest rock. I also said you must be the change you wish to see in the world. This was not a slogan for me. It was a discipline practiced every single day, in small moments that no one witnessed, and grand gestures that history recorded. When I wanted India to embrace simplicity, I gave up my English suits and learned to spin my own cloth. When I wanted my countrymen to overcome their divisions, I lived among both Hindus and Muslims, shared their meals, listened to their prayers. When I called for truthfulness in public life, I confessed my own failures openly, including the ways I had fallen short as a husband and father. Change that begins outside ourselves rarely lasts. Laws can be written and ignored. Leaders can inspire and then disappoint. Movements can rise and fade like ocean waves. But change that begins within the human heart, that takes root in the soil of daily choices, cannot be destroyed. It spreads through example rather than command. It passes from one generation to the next, like a flame passed between candles, warm and alive. At this stage of life, you may wonder what difference you can still make. The great projects seem behind you. The world belongs to younger hands now. But consider the reach of your influence. Your children watch how you handle difficulty. Your grandchildren absorb your values without knowing they are learning. Your neighbors notice whether you greet them with warmth or indifference. Every interaction is a small vote for the kind of world you wish to create. A single candle does not think itself powerful, yet place it in a dark room, and suddenly that humble flame is all anyone can see. One more thought I wish to share. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. My body was never strong. I was thin, small, often unwell. During my many fasts, I grew weak enough that doctors feared for my life. Yet I discovered reserves of endurance I never knew I possessed, hidden chambers of the spirit that only opened when all other doors had closed. Physical decline is simply part of being human. Joints ache, energy fades. Tasks that once required no thought now demand careful attention. This is not failure. This is nature's patient instruction that our true strength was never located in muscle and bone. The will to continue when circumstances are difficult. The will to love when love has not returned. The will to hope when evidence suggests that hope is foolish. These are the measures of genuine strength, and they often grow stronger as the body grows weaker. You have survived heartbreak. You have navigated loss. You have adapted to changes you never anticipated. That history of survival is proof that your spirit is far more durable than your body. Trust what you have already demonstrated. Let me share one final reflection that stayed with me until my last breath. An ounce of practice is worth more than tons of preaching. So many people speak of love but practice indifference. They speak of peace but harbor anger in their hearts. The gap between words and actions is where integrity lives or dies. At 60, you have earned the wisdom to know that what matters is not what we intended to do, but what we actually did. Not the kindness we planned to offer, but the kindness we gave. The weight of a life is measured in moments lived, not speeches made. Let me leave you now with the final image. I did not succeed at everything I attempted. India gained independence, but it was torn apart by violence. That broke my heart. Communities that should have lived as neighbors became enemies instead. My dream of unity was only partially realized, and yet I do not consider my life a failure, because I discovered that peace is not a destination you arrive at and then rest. Peace is a practice. It is something you choose again each morning when you open your eyes. It is renewed with each breath, each kind word, each moment of patience with yourself and others. The world will always contain conflict. Darkness is part of the human story, but so is light, and light does not argue with darkness, or try to defeat it through superior force. Light simply shines, and in shining, transforms everything it touches. You have light within you. You have accumulated decades of wisdom, experience, and hard-won understanding. You have weathered storms that would have overwhelmed your younger self. You have earned the right to peace, not through perfection, but through perseverance. Tonight, wherever you are, I invite you to be still for a moment. Let the noise of the world fade. Feel your own heartbeat, that faithful companion that has kept rhythm through every chapter of your life. And know this: you do not need to save the world. You do not need to solve problems beyond your reach. Your task now is simpler and more profound. Be a sanctuary of calm in anxious times. Be proof that gentleness survives. Be the quiet voice that reminds others that another way is possible. The changes you make within yourself ripple outward in ways you will never fully see. Trust the ripples. The river does not hurry, yet it reaches the sea. Walk gently, forgive freely, and let your remaining days be filled with the peace you have always deserved.